everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in for another YouTube video. If you see a bunch of stuff on my bed, it's because I am beginning the process of moving and everything is starting to crumble around me. But that being said, I'm done with Junkie Fest now. We just finished it last weekend and I have had a resurgence of creativity in cards. I'm making two different wreath style cards with the Rina Wreath Builder, and I'm using the Autumn Wreath Builder stamp set that just came out, so I hope you guys like these cards. They're very fun and in season. So these are the products that we are going to be using to make our wreaths. I've been kind of on a spell of making wreaths ever since Junkie Fest just because I teach with Gina K, but I more so sit in the back and like learn new skills for myself. I like pretty much take the class and learn all the stuff. So a lot of this stuff has been inspired by the stuff that she teaches in her class. So I will be creating a more simple wreath design, and I will also be creating a more extra design when you're kind of like when you're kind of like getting carried away with your stamp supplies and all of a sudden you have like really old embellishments and all these different colors and all this stuff going on. I will do that with the Wreath Builder and show you how you can create another look with it. So we're going to start off with the more simple card using the Autumn Wreath Builder set, and this is what it looks like. Mine's a little stained, but that's okay. And then we are also going to be using all of these inks. Most of these are from the Autumn Ink Cube assortment pack. This is fresh asparagus, this is charcoal brown, this is honey mustard, this is sweet corn, this is warm cocoa. I don't think that's right. Warm cocoa should have this one, I feel like. Faded brick and peach bellini. And then we will once again be using the Gina K amalgam ink to stamp the greetings and get a nice crisp sentiment on the card. And then here are our card bases. I couldn't really fit them into frame, but they are 3 3/4 inch squares, and they will fit in the smaller Wreath Builder template. So I have the layerings also with them to make it pop, and then for this green card, the more extravagant card, if you will, I have a 3 3/4 and 1 1/2 inch, so we will use that in our project. But for now, we're going to start with the simpler of the two wreaths. Okay, so measuring for this might be a little rough, but that's okay because we just kind of need to eyeball it. One thing that my mom taught in her class is other uses for this center stamp, because it's usually, there's a hair. What's interesting about these stamps is that you can use them for a lot of other things other than just like for around the sentiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this just a little off center. It's going to be like the center. Let me use my stick tool to demonstrate this. The center will fall like right here on the circle. We'll start with that. And we will attach it to our Misty. The first color we are going to be using is the honey mustard. Something my mom heavily emphasized in her class was the importance of square orientation. So there's square orientation, and then when the paper's like this, it's in diamond orientation. You always want to start in square orientation or your stamp is going to be very messed up. For this card, you want to stay in square orientation solely. I always think with art projects and stuff that things have to look worse before they get better. Sometimes they just end up looking worse. Ugh. So upon review, it's a little too small and I smudged. So be right back. Fun fact, I actually was teaching live in a class, and as I was teaching the group, I messed something up and taught the whole group to mess up alongside with me. So Okay, so I took a deep breath and did this one with a little more care, and this is how it turned out. So you can see how it makes this like cool, perfect circle pattern, but it also gives you like room to like color if you want. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take really light beiges and browns in the Copic markers collections, and I'm just gonna color in each of the pieces. There should be 4 of each piece. So we're going to start with the lightest color in the center, right here. Then we'll do the medium color on these parts. It's a little pink, but you know what? That's okay. I enjoy the color pink. I went through a phase of just like denying pink my entire life, and then just recently I've been trying to wear it again, and I'm like, oh, it's nice. But also I was like a tomboy until I was like 15, which means every picture I have prior to being 15 has been erased from the universe. And then we're gonna finish with this brown on the outside. So that's what it looks like, and now we are going to put it back into the wreath builder, and we are going to change our stamps. So now that we have this circle design complete, we're going to take this leafy stamp and put it along this circle right here, and we're going to have it kind of flow off to the side like this, and we will only be putting this on 2 of the square orientations, so you'll see me flip it. We're just going to put it on each side. So I'm going to be stamping that with, it with fresh asparagus. These magnets piss me off, I'm not going to lie. Yes. And then instead of flipping it like this, we're gonna forget that one and flip it like this. And get, oh! So now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna freestyle it. That's fun about the wreath builder is all the pieces are meant to really go well together. And wreaths, you know, you can make them as messy as you want and deny that you went too far. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue the green with this little leaf pattern design thingy and attach it to this stem right here. Yes, see how nice that continuation is of this stamp? I'm getting more like Greek Colosseum vibes from this over, ooh, yikes, that one, okay. So now that we've messed up, we're gonna take this, it looks like coral, but I think it's just like a dry piece of leaf or something. So we are going to take charcoal brown, smack that on there, ooh. Next we're gonna take this like wheat looking thing and we're gonna line it up with our first stamp that we used. And I'm gonna use sweet corn to create this look. And now I'm going to wash it and move it down a little bit more, maybe like there, and just do the same thing. It's hard to make an interesting wreath builder video because you just get into like a trance, stamping and rotating. The last thing we're gonna do is stamp a little flower in faded brick right about here, just to give it a nice little, this style of flower is signature to the wreath builder. You guys don't know how many of these tiny stamps I've had to pick up off the floor at classes because it's no fault of the people that take the class. Please keep taking the class. It's absolutely no problem, but it's the stamp sets that we have because so many people have used them that when you try to put them back onto the stamp set, they're so old and worn but tiny that they don't have any stick to them. So when you move your stamp set, or God forbid you drop it, it disappears into the abyss. So it's just, that's what I think of when I think of this stamp. So obviously I'm going to add it in my card. That's what the wreath looks like so far, and I am just going to stamp a greeting and then mount it for you guys so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so guys, shocker, obviously I forgot to color in these little parts. So I colored them in with a red Copic marker, and then I added some signature crystalline drops going around the edge, and I think it was a nice little touch. And so this was our more simple wreath look for this video, and now I will move into a more complicated extra look using this Wreath Builder stamp set. Okay, so for this card, I recommend turning your MISTI to the side. My lid is having a hard time getting flat. Let me just move my anxiety medication, sinus medication, empty bowl of cereal. So what we're gonna do first is, once again, I hate how stamp sets get such a weird texture after using them, like, well, I've been using this a lot, to be fair. Just after using them a couple times, though, they start to feel like you dropped them in, like, a bathroom at a Taylor Swift concert with how much substance it picks up, you know? But I mean, like, I also set these on, like, the floor, so I can't complain too much. So what we're gonna do is line up the circular stamp that comes in the Autumn Wreath Builder along the side, and we're gonna have it about halfway, and you can use the point of the diamond orientation part of the Wreath Builder to measure the middle out, kind of. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just, they have to look similar. You want to make sure that you go about one radius of the circle up into the card. So we're going to close, every time I go to close the lid, there's always another stamp on there, and I always forget. But we're going to close the lid, and we're going to stamp in, once again, honey mustard. And you only have to stamp on, or you only have to ink it up on the side that we're using that's actually touching the paper. But if you just feel better about inking it up, sometimes I literally don't trust that this side of the ink pad will not touch this. I always think that just because it's mirrored, it's going to be all messed up. So sometimes I just ink it all up, and that's fine. You can wash the Wreath Builder stencil, but make sure you do wash the Wreath Builder stencil, because you can ruin this paper so easily and it will make you cry. And clean off that circular stamp again. Try to line up the top of the circle right here with the middle. So this point and this point should line up pretty well. Put that down. Oh, uh-oh. Please be covered up by this. Oh, it looks bad. Okay. Okay, so I redid it and I messed up again. But you know what? We're gonna leave it because I am not perfect and I don't care. But we want to make sure the little lines of this circular stamp line up with the marks of this stamp in the middle, because we want them to cross nicely. We want this to look like a nice picket fence. So the last thing we're going to do is actually change our orientation. We're going to flip it so it faces this way now on the Wreath Builder. So you can make the last circle go out to the side, and you just line it up, and then you do the same thing. And you do it on all the sides, and then we are done with the circle. Our next step with this is to take the Peach Bellini ink cube, and I just mounted this tiny flower that comes with the Autumn Wreath Builder, and I'm just going to stamp it in between these parts. I was going to do it with the Wreath Builder, but I didn't, making them look a little more unique. So I'm going to put the Peach Bellini on these ones. I'm going to go every other for the flowers. The second you make a card and you mess it up, that moment where you're just staring at it, like hoping that like your will just make it disappear for how far you've come. But it doesn't, it stays. So now I'm going to use the Faded Brick ink cube, and I'm just going to do the same thing but on these inside. And, ooh, almost stamped that onto my mat. No, thank you. Not today. I am going to stamp these off the side of the MISTI. And so now what we're going to do is the same step, but with a different stamp and in the pointier parts down here. So now we're going to take this stamp It's like a long, it's the wheat one, the one that looks like wheat. And we're going to take the fresh asparagus, and we're only going to stamp the top 3 leaves on it. And just put that pointed right towards the top of the point. I don't know. I don't know how to describe these shapes. It kind of makes it look like a leaf though, you know? This would make like a nice like bathroom wallpaper. So that design is finished, and we are going to complete this with some embellishments. I have these nail heads metal stickers, and I'm using a copper finish on these, so I will snip these all apart. They're on like a long like strip of double-sided tape, so I like to cut them off, and it takes a little while, so I'm going to do that, and then I will show you how to make the greeting on this card. Okay, so if you guys watched my labeling my spice rack video, we are going to do the same technique on this as we did my garlic spice jar, and we are going to start with the sweet corn ink cube, and we're just going to lightly tap because the ink cube has a cool pattern, like a cool stamp pattern. We're just going to do some light ones and let that sit for a second. It's a nice detailed look. And then we're going to take the honey mustard and do the same thing. But be cautious with this one, it is darker, so it will show up more. And then if you want to, you can go over it one more time with sweet corn. I like a little bit more yellow all around. Okay, so now we are going to stamp a greeting on here and mount it with the part that we use the wreath builder with. So this is how it's going to lay. This looks like a wall at Olive Garden. So in that case, because this is inspiring Olive Garden, we're going to use the stamp So Grateful for You, because I think with the theme going on here, that is relevant. So we are going to stamp this with amalgam ink, and then I'm going to add a couple extra leaves from the Leaf Builder, from the Wreath Builder set. Words are hard. So I went ahead and mounted our sentiment on the card and layered it, and this is our final product. So that is a more complicated way to use the Wreath Builder. And here are our 2 projects together. Ooh, it looks so good with my wooden background. That isn't actually wooden, it is a computer mat that already has stains in it. So those are the finished cards. So guys, these are the finished cards. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope it wasn't too confusing. If there's anything I've learned from teaching classes over the last weekend, explaining my thoughts out loud are not the easiest to follow, but I hope you guys found this tutorial a little helpful and hopefully inspired your cards to make at home. I hope you also check out the Autumn Wreath Builder stamp set because you can create cool looks like this. So for last week's video, it's been a while, I'm sorry, I promised the winners of that giveaway to receive the Inspiring Poppy stamp set that I used in my last video, and the winners of that giveaway are right here. So if you see your name here, remember to submit I won the Rina K giveaway to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will send you your stamp set right away. For this week's giveaway, I am planning on giving a $25 gift certificate to ginakdesigns.com, and to be entered in that giveaway, answer the question, what is your favorite thing about fall? Because fall is coming up and I use the Autumn Wreath Builder. So yeah, let me know what you like about fall, let me know what your favorite dish is, let me know what your favorite things to do outside are, let me know whatever you want, and you can possibly win the $25 gift certificate to Gina K Designs.